Hello, everybody, and welcome to another TV watch party. Hopefully, you are seeing this and here with us. We've got a very special guest tonight. One of our beloved members of the Beyond Vaudeville family, Renaissance man William Brown, will be joining us. First, I just want to hi Max Ice, hi E Connor. Thanks for joining us. I want to thank, I don't know if this person's watching, but JR 007 Aponte mentioned that Sunday, a week from today, are the Oscars and was kind of giving a heads up so that we don't do a live stream on Sunday up against the Oscars. Really appreciate that, JR 007. I don't watch the Oscars. I don't watch the Grammys. I don't watch the Super Bowl. So yeah, I don't know when these things are on Sunday nights. So thank you for letting me know. And we'll probably do this again Saturday next weekend instead of Sunday. But keep an eye on our social media so you know when we'll be doing it. That's why I encourage you all to like, follow, and subscribe here on YouTube at Beyond Vaudeville, on the Instagram page at Beyond Vaudeville, and on Facebook. Just make sure you've signed up if you haven't already. Instagram is now up to 51,000 followers. Facebook is up to 16,000. YouTube is up to almost 8,000. Thank you, everybody, for all the support. Thanks for all who purchased some of the merchandise at the Beyond Vaudeville Etsy shop, which is closed at the moment, but it'll be back. It comes and goes depending on how much time there is to work on it. We also have Super Chat operating tonight. Thank you to everybody who has participated in Super Chat in the past. It really helps in digitizing all this stuff, all these tapes. So much thanks. So let's get into our public access TV watch party. We're going to be focusing on William Brown and his appearances on public access shows in the 90s. But before we bring on William Brown, I just wanted to give a little palate cleanser. So this clip that I'm going to show you is from the Skippy Lowe show. And some of you might already be familiar with Skippy Lowe, especially if you're a fan of Martin Short's. Martin Short did a character named Skippy High at one point. And also, his Jiminy Glick character, although Martin Short has never acknowledged exactly who Jiminy Glick was based on, I think it's very clear that it was largely Skippy Lowe. Skippy Lowe had an amazing show. It was on public access in Hollywood, and but he also would show his shows in New York. So fortunately, I was able to see a number of those and record them. And I want to share with you one of the most amazing episodes I remember of Skippy Lowe, and there were many. But this features Eartha Kitt, who clearly was on another plane on this particular episode. And it's just a quick clip, but I think you'll enjoy it. Let's take a look at...
Until we tell him enough is enough. You have not said that yet.
I see.
The people have not said it. The people have not said,
Yeah.
wait a minute, enough is enough.
Yes, yes.
In the meantime, you have, excuse me.
That's right.
My eyes are watering and so
Can we get some Kleenex here, I think?
In the meantime, a man or a person who is in the positive position is going to run away with power
Yes.
until the people say, this is what we want. The people have not said anything.
I see.
The people have not said anything.
I see.
The people, as this government says,
Yes, yes.
it's ruled by the government, by the people. The people are not saying anything. Therefore, you are allowing a person who is in a positive position to run away with everything.
Right.
When we people decide, okay, enough is enough,
Yes.
then you don't pay taxes anymore. You say, you sit down and you goddamn say, for the next 2 years, I'm not going to pay any goddamn taxes.
Right.
Until you get your boards in order.
I see.
Until you get your people in order. When the government says to us, we have our books in order and the people have...
Yes.
The people do not pay attention. They say, oh my God, that's what the government says. Therefore, we have to behave. And the government uses us as
like puppets.
The government is the biggest pimp in the world. And so is the church.
Eartha Kitt.
Talk about pimps.
Yeah. Eartha, I want to get back to your career.
Anyway, that was just a little glimpse. Eartha is, and I see there's Ramey Winters saying she's right. Homeboy Jefferson says I'm with Eartha. Yes, Eartha was really on the soapbox, whether you agree with what she was saying or not about Reagan at the time. But it just was fascinating to me how dramatic she got, and Skippy, just was kind of lost and was kind of like, can we go back to your career? That kind of thing. AJ says Martin Short did say that Skippy Lowe was an influence. His favorite episode was with Rudy Valley. Yes, Martin Short has acknowledged that Skippy Lowe was an influence. I think there probably were others like George Pinocchio, who's a news personality in Los Angeles. But he never... Short never admitted that it was just directly Skippy Lowe, but I think it was. Anyway, let's go to our main guest tonight. He actually was showing up briefly on camera there because I didn't realize he was going to be in the split screen. But I'm very thrilled to have this person on. This is his second time appearing on Rich Brown Rewind. He had appeared quite some time back. And we talked a lot about all his appearances on Beyond Vaudeville. So be sure to check that out at Beyond Vaudeville on YouTube if you want to, kind of hear our talk about his appearances specifically on Beyond Vaudeville. What we're doing tonight is actually looking at his appearances on other public access shows in the 90s. So without further ado, let's please welcome William Brown.
Well, here I am.
So, without further ado,
William, I'm getting some audio back. Maybe
So am I.
maybe turn down your audio.
some audio back. Maybe turn down your audio.
Hold on. Well, if I turn down the audio, I won't be able to hear myself or you.
William, did you do anything different from what we had set up before?
Who knows?
Hang on, everybody. Technical difficulties.
Please stand by. Channel 5 went back when it was Metro Media owned WNEW TV. Their slogans, apparently their calls by some of their staffers said, where nothing ever works.
William, I'm not sure because before you came on, it sounded fine. So I don't know. Did you adjust anything differently?
Because before you came on, it sounded fine. So I don't know. Did you adjust anything?
Hold on. Let me just, I may have to do something extreme here. Just a minute.
Okay. William is going to do something extreme here.
I may have to do something extreme.
Correct it.
Okay.
There. Okay. That fixed it. So you can hear me, William?
Oh, I can hear you fine.
Perfect. Okay.
Well, perfect.
Yes. So Pig Guy had said, please.
Oh, I can hear you all right. And also the echo.
Oh, you're still hearing me echoing? Are you hearing me okay, William?
Oh, I can hear you all right. I can see your lips moving at the same time.
Okay, perfect. So, William, how are you?
Oh, I've been doing all right already.
Good.
I mean, you can see how I am.
So, William, we just went on. I went on Instagram to let everyone know that we were going to be doing this.
Yeah.
And someone had said hello from Pittsburgh, and I mentioned that that I spent a little time in Pittsburgh right after college doing a little work for Mr. Rogers, and you told me that you actually went to Pittsburgh and visited Mr. Rogers, and I had no idea.
I saw a taping of a Neighborhood of Make Believe segment involving a flying carpet, and I met Mr. Rogers. I had already known Lady Aberlin because she had been to my house once, and then I also met David Newell, who played the speedy delivery guy, Mr. McFeely, and also the musical director, Johnny Costa.
Now, how did Betty Aberlin wind up at your house?
I think it may have to do with the fact that she did some theater where the set designer had some involvement with.
Ah, okay. And do you have any memories of your meeting with Betty Aberlin back then? How old were you? And
well, I was in my towards my first and second years in high school at the time.
Okay. And so do you remember what you talked about, or
we pretty much shot the breeze. We were talking about various things involved, also partly with Mr. Rogers and all that.
Right. Okay. And what did you discuss with Mr. Rogers?
We talked about various things. My mother swore by him because when I was much younger, the message that Mr. Rogers had about "you are special" and "I love you just the way you are" registered with her, because in the neighborhood we lived in at the time, we got almost zero of that from the others in the area we lived.
Ah, okay. Now, I had helped do some publicity for Mr. Rogers, some press releases, working with David Newell, who was, Mr. McFeely on.
Yeah, the speedy delivery guy. Yeah.
But he also did all the publicity and PR for the show. And so I got to meet with Mr. Rogers in his office, and it was very intimidating. I'm sure you felt intimidated meeting him before actually meeting him and realizing what a genuine guy he was. Yeah. And I went into his office, and he was behind the desk, and he had just made a batch of microwave popcorn. And he just held the bag out to me and said, "Would you like some popcorn?" And that was it. I just felt so comfortable and just very disarming.
He had that way about him. He was very sincere.
Yes.
No wax about him at all.
Yes. And so anyway, everybody, we weren't coming on to talk about Mr. Rogers. This was just a pleasant surprise that I discovered that William actually spent time with Lady Betty Aberlin, who was a frequent guest on our shows, and interesting. Now, someone mentions in chat that you are Pennsylvania Dutch. What is that all about?
That is part of my heritage.
Ah, okay.
I think we explained that in my last appearance.
Oh, so he's getting it from there. Okay. So do you know how to operate like a horse and buggy, or
in this city?
And do you make pretzels?
I don't know about pretzels, but in my youth I used to eat Mr. Salty.
Ah, okay, Mr. Salty. Are those still around, or?
Apparently, who knows?
Yeah. Okay.
It's been a long while since I last had them.
So if anyone has questions for William Brown, please feel free to put them in there. By the way, what kind of cameras did they use? Because I know you follow closely cameras in studios. What kind of cameras were used on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
Oh, yes. As of 1982, they used the RCA TK44A/B models.
Okay. And then what happened after 82? Do you know? Or?
Well, after that, I think they went with more, like either Ikegami or Hitachi or whatever.
Okay. And, so we're going to take a look at some of your appearances that you did on public access shows in the 90s. And the first of them is the Steve Gruberg show, which was
the Grube Tube.
the Grube Tube. And how did you come about meeting Steve Gruber?
Well, I started out as a caller on some of his shows, and the next thing you know, came an invite to appear.
Okay.
And it went from there.
Now, Steve Gruber, for those who wouldn't know him necessarily, especially outside of New York, Steve Gruber had one of the longest running public access shows on New York City public access. And he basically would just sit.
He'd shoot the breeze, talk about whatever came to his mind.
Yeah, and he would be eating. He might have a sandwich that he brought with him, and he would take phone calls, and they were unfiltered, and it just anyone could call and talk.
Had various people on his show.
Yeah,
I was on an anniversary show. I think that was the one where you were mentioning about a discography I wrote for Columbia Records. And one of the guests was Soupy Sales.
Ah, okay.
Oh, that's the back cover. I'm sorry. Here's the front cover.
Ah, okay. So
which
now
was designed by myself.
This is a discography you put together. Now you have the actual book there. You can kind of show us.
I have portions of the book. This has been overused for many years.
So now you assembled this, and this is these are every record,
every documented single that they had during a 35-year period on Columbia Records. From 1939 to 1974, that was the birth of the red label Columbia.
Maybe can you just show the how thick that book is? That.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, side view. Okay, and that's just page after page of all these.
Yeah, about 900 pages. Yes.
900 pages.
Yes.
Okay. Now
cross-referenced by indexed by artist and by song titles.
Now, how were you able to assemble that much information?
It was a solo job all the way. It took me about 4 years from the time I first visited their archives to the time I self-published it.
So they allowed you to just spend time in their
archives? What happened was you had to know somebody involved with what was by then Sony Music to get in. And fortunately, I also happened to know Shel Silverstein.
Ah, okay.
And he recorded for Columbia a couple times. And also some of his songs were recorded by Columbia artists.
Yes, and he had the album Freakin' at the Freakers Ball.
That and later on in his career, Where the Sidewalk Ends.
Okay, and now how well did you know him? Was he...
My mother typed for him the last 18 years of his life.
Oh, typed...
Yeah. There was one in early 83 during a snowstorm. Shel offered to shovel snow outside while my mother was typing one of his manuscripts. And he did so. And when he came back, he said, you know, everybody in Chicago, they die of heart attacks shoveling snow. Now, the irony is when he died, he did not die in Chicago, and he did not die shoveling snow.
Wow. Interesting. Now, I saw him once on Bleecker Street at a used record section inside a flea market. There was like an indoor flea market.
Yeah.
And
I got a few albums from him, especially of old Dave Gardner albums.
Ah. Now I had approached him and just, you know, said hello and that I, you know, enjoyed his work. And he was friendly, but he, you know, clearly didn't want to talk to somebody just coming up to him.
Well, he was certain ways to certain people.
Okay. Oh, maybe I put him off somehow. How?
Who knows?
So did you have much conversation with Shel Silverstein?
Well, we have. As a matter of fact, there was one time I was going out for some occasion, and he actually helped tie my necktie with a Windsor knot.
Wow.
So, I mean, he was very generous when he was with us.
And how did your mom come to become his typist?
Because she had done some work for the wife of Shel's theatrical director.
Okay. Now, William, I'm shocked. I'm just learning these things now. We had you on Beyond Vaudeville. You never told us about Shel Silverstein.
Nobody asked.
Mr. Rogers, Betty Aberlin, anyone else that you crossed paths with that had some notoriety and fame?
Yeah, well, the things you find out after the fact.
Is there anyone else that we're missing that we don't know about?
Not that we know of, but if anything else, though, I'm subject to NDAs.
Ah, okay. All right. So let's take a look at your.
Yeah, let's get on with the show.
Yes, I clearly we could go all night hearing more about Sheldon Silverstein and Windsor Knots, but let's take a look at your appearance on Steve Gruberg, one of your appearances.
William B is
by the way, I'm just going to point out Steve Gruberg did appear once on Beyond Vaudeville on our Christmas episode, so you can see him among other public access stars, and maybe you have seen him if you've watched the show. Okay, so William, let's take a look at you here appearing, and what year this was, around 1990?
This was in early 1992.
Early 1992, okay.
Let him in. He's a guest.
Hello there. Hello.
Sit down.
You've heard me over the phone. Now you're seeing me on television,
Wait, what's
ladies
your
and
name?
gentlemen.
What's your name?
All
I'm
right.
gonna type your name up.
All right. My name is William Brown. I'm from New York City. I'm a native Manhattanite, as you can see right here. I specialize in a lot of different things around the world. I collect facts. I figure out various different types of information.
You got information on them?
I'll tell you one thing. This is a different kind of camera than what's used on Midnight Blue. I mean, Midnight Blue uses the...
Camcorder.
No, they use... I don't have the
Camcorder.
pictures.
He's got it written down.
No, they have...
He's been up. He's taking pictures up at the
No,
office.
they have... let's see, I think the Hitachi, something like that.
Yes.
This is sharp. All right. I also have here, and that's a proof of my influence.
No, let's not discuss that.
All right.
What was that he didn't want to discuss?
Oh, I think the fonts that I provided to them.
Oh, okay. So, okay, and yeah, just another little backup here. So Steve Gruberg had a relationship with Al Goldstein.
No, yeah, and that by the way, the camera that I slipped my mind on was the Hitachi SK91.
Ah, okay. That's what was being used here?
No, the camera on this was the XCA1 from Sharp.
Okay.
The only difference was I got that mixed up too, which I called XCAL.
Okay. And Mark Thorner is asking, is that Willie H speaking off camera?
Oh yeah, the Vole. He was
Vole.
one of Steve Gruberg's foils and
Okay. So I want to try to set this up so everyone understands what we're watching here, because we're starting to get viewers from around the world who don't really know the world of New York City public access. But there was a show, a notorious show on Channel J, which was called Least Access. People could buy the time from the cable company, and it was called Midnight Blue. And Midnight Blue was hosted by Al Goldstein, the late Al Goldstein, who was the publisher of Screw magazine. It was a pornographic newspaper, a weekly newspaper in New York. And he was kind of a legendary figure. So Al Goldstein had a business relationship with this man, Steve Gruberg.
the late Steve Gruberg.
And Steve Gruberg, yes, unfortunately, who has also passed away.
He passed away in 2011.
Yes. So this Midnight Blue show, William had realized the font that was being used was from a certain type of set of fonts, and maybe
Yeah, it was TV text from Zuma Fonts. They had the first 9 typefaces, and I provided them with another 9.
Okay, and so that's kind of how you got into this world and met
Pretty
Steve
much
Gruberg.
by the graphics end of it.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's what you were just about to show, and Steve was
Yeah.
like, "No, let's not get into that. Let's just talk on the show." Okay,
Right.
Here we go.
I have other information too. For instance, here. I wonder if anybody in the Star it's related to anyone in Midnight Blue. For instance, here. Yeah. The surname spelled the same wrong way as.
Can we see this?
Oh, certainly.
Okay, so don't hide it from anybody. I mean,
All right, now
this
here,
is
look.
like high classified facts here.
All right,
There we
now
go.
here,
See?
this article here pertaining to the recent death of the daughter of Jerry Van Dyke that said the body was discovered by Lisa Lauren. They spelled her married surname the same way that Midnight Blue had spelled the surname of David's Cookies prevaricator David Liederman.
Liederman and Sliderman.
L-I, it's David Liederman
Oh,
is
do you
L-I-E.
think there's a connection between that?
Well, I'm not saying there is, and I'm not saying there isn't. I
Ah,
wouldn't be
there's a
surprised.
man who'll tell you.
I can't believe you actually have gotten someone of this caliber on your program.
This is true. He's
I've
got
also done
6 minutes more.
I've also done other artwork as well.
Artwork?
William Brown from Morristown.
Hey, that's beautiful.
No, I'm actually from New York City, but
By
who
the
cares?
way, they replayed the show where you,
I saw that. As a matter of fact, I recorded it. I got 3 copies. 3 copies.
This man does some fabulous artwork.
This is Brooklyn Vice, you see. Jackie Gleason and Art Carney as Miami Vice-style detectives.
Let's
Think
see.
about
Let's
that.
go fix this up in the editing room.
All right. Fine by me. Yep.
I got control.
All right. I mean, there's several reasons. For one thing, Gleason in the 60s did a show from Miami Beach, which is closest proximity to Miami.
That makes sense.
And he lived in Peekskill. That's where the Peekskill...
Enterprises.
Yeah, Peekskill Enterprise.
Yeah. And also, there was a T-shirt called Bedrock Vice, and they all say that the Flintstones
stay on
was
him.
based... They all say the Flintstones was based on the Honeymooners.
Have I seen you on Beyond Vaudeville?
No?
No, you haven't even seen me on Beyond Fury either.
That's fairly funny.
I'll say. I'll say some.
So that's a reference to Beyond Fury was the name of a gentleman who was a psychic on Public Access.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I thought it fit because of the Beyond Vaudeville title.
Right. And how, by the way, you're still doing your artwork?
Say that again. I kept...
Oh, you are still doing your artwork?
to an extent, yes. As I said, I have a thing I am now getting laid out.
And what is that you're working on now?
Oh, it's going to be one of those anachronistic things. Celine Dion and the Belmonts.
Ah, okay. So we have that to look forward to. It's going to be
Yeah, absolutely.
Celine Dion and the Belmonts.
Yeah, think about the mental image for a minute.
Yeah, it's kind of like the before and after clues on Wheel of Fortune.
Ah.
Where they kind of share a middle word. So you have Celine Dion and the Belmonts, right? You're kind of merging those.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go back to William Brown on
and the cockeyed Steve Gruboy.
Yes. Did Steve have a glass eye, or do you know the details on
Well,
that?
I don't know about that, but he certainly had a vision of the world that matched the way his eyes were.
Uh-huh. Yes. So Steve would just sit back, and I think this show was an hour typically, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, but this we're only seeing a couple of minutes because you're on
because I was only on a couple of minutes.
Correct. Okay, let's go back.
Okay.
Too. I have some other joke too. There's this guy who walks into a bar, and somewhere along the way, a girl comes up to him and asks him if he wants some of Harvey's Bristol cream. He says, "No, thanks. I'd rather have some of my own."
All right, anybody have questions for William Brown from Morristown?
Mr. Brown.
Yes?
Do you know you sound a lot older over the phone?
Now, isn't that interesting?
Thank you. Good night.
People sound a lot different over the phone than they do in real life, I'll say that.
We are at 475-1550 in case any virgin callers want to call. Virgin callers.
Have you noticed, too?
Steve, I love you, Steve.
What about William? He needs some love, too.
Oh, yeah, I love him, too. He's beautiful. But, Steve, you're more beautiful.
Well, thank you very much.
You're bigger and beautiful, and
That's
I love
much
you. I love
bigger,
you.
much bigger, yes.
Yes?
Special guest from Morristown?
I'm not from Morristown, you see. They only did that because my surname rhymes with that town.
Okay, shut up. I'm a virgin caller. Okay.
Yes, and what's your question for the trivia buff?
A question?
You can ask him anything about any adult program.
Well, there you are.
William, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Hey, everybody, we're back. Sorry about that. Yes, we had a technical issue.
We still do because it's about 10-second gap in this audio.
Okay. Derek Dean is asking, did David Green pull the plug? I'm not aware of that. Okay, can everyone hear us right now? It sounds like they can. And William, you can hear me, yes?
Oh, I can hear you all right. And by the way, that picture of Tiny Tim, he was Richard Perry's first success story.
Correct.
And of course, Richard Perry died last year.
Just recently, yes.
William B is
Oh,
Okay.
we're going back to that, huh?
We're back. We're going to go back, and I'm going to bring us up to where we were.
I'm not from Morristown, you see. They only did that because...
Thanks.
All right?
Okay.
Bagel, we have the cream cheese. Now, you said you're a Morris record company executive. WTV Good wants to know, all right, boy, what record company?
You know, it's...
Michael Tomorrow is saying that he can't hear. Are you able to hear us now, Michael? I see in chat you're saying you can't hear, but I'm guessing that AJ says he can hear. Okay. All right.
I can hear double.
Okay. Let's go back. Sorry for the technical difficulties, everybody.
Yeah, let's
what do
go.
you want? You know,
let's go back.
it's just it's like public access was tricky technically, and I guess this is as well. By the way, if you're just joining us, we are watching classic public access appearances by William Brown, who is joining us here live to watch these clips of him back in the 1990s. This is William on the Grube Tube, which was a classic public access show. And let's go back. I don't want to...
Question?
Yeah.
Yes, what is it?
What are you guys doing for St. Patrick's Day? Marching the parade or what?
Well, if they let us gays in.
Well, you know. You guys,
Well, you know,
see
I
what
have
fits
my
your
own
image.
things to do. I mean,
Huh?
I have my own things to do.
Oh, come on. What are you doing? You guys
As
are
I
moving
said,
the
I
parade,
have,
aren't you?
I do work. I do regular work. I have my own
review
projects to
that whole
do.
protest
Who has
thing?
time to fool around?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to be right there in the front with everybody else. So they're fags, you know?
Thanks.
All right.
Bagel, we have the cream cheese. Now, you said you're a Morris record company executive. WTV Good wants to know, all right, boy, what record company?
You know, it's interesting. It's interesting about this thing, about this talk that the anti-porn feminists.
475-1550.
If you notice too, when Robin Bird mentions, I mean, she said the numbers are. You think when she says that she's going to talk about the other phone number that's used in this
It's a
station.
secret.
Well, it either is or it isn't. It depends.
And it's a group of numbers. It's not a singular unit.
It's an entire bank.
Well,
It's a savings and loan association of
That's
numbers.
and by the way,
SAM crisis on top of that.
as for this little picture here, which we will show again.
Ah,
Oh.
here it is, the famous... How did you get this many copies?
look,
This is
it's
done on a
Debbie Harry.
laser printer?
Well, I drew it and then I had it photographed and I had it done on a laser printer.
Okay, very nice.
Who's that? Okay.
It's Lynn Muscarella,
Mm-hmm.
That's Debbie Harry.
Mrs. Lynn Muscarella,
And
mother
there
of two. And that's Al Goldstein,
With his
mother of
famous-
three.
No, this is his infamous Al Goldstein for Sheriff T-shirt.
Yes, the man is running for sheriff.
Gee,
That
look
is-
how Lynn looks just as fat as Al.
No, you see, I'm more of an accuracy-minded person. I don't go for romantic stuff.
Have we ever seen Al Goldstein and John Sununu in the same place?
No. By the way, what did Al
That
Goldstein...
says something.
Suspicious.
That
Wait,
says something.
What did Mr. Goldstein think of the little picture?
Mr. Goldstein hasn't been in the office since you submitted the picture.
Uh-huh, I see. Well,
How's this bid
You've
for
got
sheriff
6 minutes
doing?
more on this deal.
actually, I figured I have about 2 minutes left.
Well, I'll give you 6. Right till the bitching
Right.
hour of Friday the 13th.
Oh, yes.
Uh-oh.
Now, it's another interesting thing, too. I was reading Raw Talent by Jerry Butler.
Oh, you're the guy who bought the copy.
No, I didn't buy it. I just looked at it. He claimed he was born on Friday the 13th of May in 1959. Now,
There was no Friday the 13th in May of 1959.
That's right. May 13th, 1959 fell on a Wednesday, which is ironic considering the fact that that he is married to the woman who, as a little girl, played Wednesday on the Addams Family TV show.
No wonder he got this thing screwed up. What about Tuesday Weld? Not to mention...
Friday, the 13th of May would have fallen in 1960.
Is that book in special easy-to-read type?
So wait, William, were you you knew that off the top of your head?
More or less.
So are you one of those people that can, like Mary Lou Hanner, who can identify what day of the week it was based on a date?
Well, her thought process is not the same as mine, but pretty much at that time, I could make that claim.
So, but you don't do that now?
Well, I've gotten older, you know.
Okay. But do you think maybe, like, if I said May 20th of 1990, would you know the day of the week?
Hold on, let me get that in a minute.
Wait, you're going to look something up?
May 20th, 1990 would have fallen on a Sunday.
So I'm looking it up, and it is a Sunday. Now, what did you look at that helped you get there?
There's your answer.
Wait, you were looking at a calendar from 1990?
No, it's a 250-year calendar.
Oh, okay. Now, but at one time, were you able to do that without even looking at that?
More or less, yes.
Wow. We have someone in chat asking February 6, 1978.
1978. Oh, yeah. 78. That was during the blizzard. I remember that was when everything was closed because there was snow all over the place.
February 6, 1978. So would you know the day of the week of that or no?
Okay, that would be that would be on a Monday.
Okay, Ramey, we're going to count on you to confirm that February 6, 1978 was a Monday, and that it was the middle of a very bad snowstorm. Is that right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Really socked it to Mayor Koch at the time.
Ah, okay. All right, let's go back and take a look at some more of William Brown.
Yeah, looking at the younger me versus the older me.
Correct. And this is on the Grube Tube. There were a lot of shows on public access like this where, people would just call in and the hosts would just sit there and take the calls without any screening.
Now, there is one question that somebody asked. You're going to get something that's really profound.
Profound. Okay, here we go.
You'll see.
Actually, I can retype a small... I have some samples here.
Oh, you brought samples of the book?
No, I bought samples of the small type I write in.
Oh, okay.
If you can...
Who cares?
If you can read this...
You can make a lot of money. You can read this.
No, this doesn't have that. I'm sorry.
What a crummy.
What a crummy. See, now, actually, what we got to do is we got to take this and we got to move it real close.
And macro it?
Where's the macro? Oh, we can just break the camera. Forget it. We break the camera if we did it. But that is small. That is small.
Let me see if I can read it.
All right. Now, these are Roman numerals.
1,000,000, 500,000, 100,000, 50,000, 10,000, 5,000, 1,000, 500, 100, 50, 10, 5, and 1.
So
Roman
there.
numerals. MDCLXV, MDCLXV. Oh, with things over them.
Yeah, that's right.
That changes it, huh?
Yeah. Now, Goldsey said he could not read Roman numerals. Now, MCM...
You used to work at 47th Street Photo, right?
No, why would you
okay,
ask?
I don't know. It just struck me.
Yeah. Yes. But...
So they never did manage to focus in on your writing. However, I have here the VHS tape that these appearances were on that you had given me years ago, and fortunately I held on.
Well, it's so that people can read it.
And this way you can see William Brown's writing. So it's very precise. How did you learn to write like this, William?
I taught myself.
Yeah, let me go. I'm hoping you can see that.
Yeah, do a little Dr. Tongue's 3D house of whatever for the...
Yeah, let me go full screen for a moment. We won't be able to hear you, but just so you can see, that is William's writing right there. And let's go back. There we are. Okay. Yeah, it's amazing penmanship and so tiny too.
Yeah.
And you still write that way?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right, let's go back here. Again, this studio was Jim Claddock's...
Metro Access Studios on East 23rd Street, just east of Park Avenue.
Correct. And we shot a number of Beyond Vaudeville episodes here.
Yes, and we had to get rid of the bullets after we were finished.
Yes. Right. Okay, let's go back.
All right.
It's interesting how much you find out when you concern yourself with facts instead of getting laid.
Facts?
Facts.
Are you trying to say you concern yourself with
That's a
facts
terrible
instead of
disease.
getting
I feel
laid?
sorry for you.
Well, I tell you what. I mean, I once was told by somebody that if you concentrate too much on getting laid,
Yeah.
then your mind will be the first to go.
Well, it's... There you go.
Was that Mr. Rogers who had told you that?
I don't know who said it, but somebody said it.
Okay.
That if you concentrate on hedonistic practices, instead of getting knowledge, then it's the first atrophy.
Gotcha. Okay. By the way, if you're just joining us, we're here with Renaissance man William Brown, a frequent guest on Beyond Vaudeville. We're looking at his appearances on other shows, public access shows in New York City in the 1990s. This particular one is the Grube Tube. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. If you like what you're seeing and you're able to, please participate in the super chat, which helps us with digitizing all this stuff. Okay, let's go back.
Go where?
Yeah.
You know,
Okay. Any other questions for the special clown from Morristown?
You call me a douche?
Say what?
You call me a douche?
Yeah, douche bag.
Hey, you call me...
All right. Any intelligent questions here?
Who
This is
are you?
That's an intelligent question.
Who is this guy?
If you mean this in the physical sense or in the existential sense?
Just who are you? What do you
I am
do
a person
on this earth?
who has achieved considerable influence within the show with which this person is regularly involved.
That explains why it looks so...
He gave us some extra fonts for our Amiga.
That is correct. That is correct. If you have seen Midnight Blue during the past month, you will have seen new typefaces on screen.
What are you doing on this show?
Doesn't change the show much.
Because I did something. If you do something like I did something, maybe you'll get on the show too.
How much did you get paid for those fonts?
Well, what happened was I plunked in a bit of money.
Where did you get those funds?
Well, you see, the thing is, I studied what system Midnight Blue uses. Then I found out from one of those Amiga journals.
There's a system?
Yes, one of these Amiga journals, that the company that made the system also had new typefaces. And when I scraped the money together, I got the new typefaces. And 10 days, I dealt directly with the company. I didn't do any middleman because otherwise it would have taken longer.
Why are you wearing a suit?
Why am I wearing a suit?
Respectable, isn't it?
It's me! What else?
I don't know you. What are you?
Oh, like I know you.
Exactly. Exactly, that's his point.
You should know me.
All right.
William, a couple of questions coming up here.
But notice, do you mean that in the physical sense or in the existential sense?
Okay. Yes.
Think about it.
Now, Scott Allen is asking in chat, William Brown was always my favorite guest. So funny. My favorite thing he did was when he put his earplugs back in when he realized the bagpipe playing wasn't done. Is that accurate?
Well, it is one of the I am one of the few people to have emphasized on air hearing safety.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. Think about the people on that show who had their hearing blown out because of all that. I mean, what they said about Pete Townsend of The Who after all those concerts losing his hearing, bad stuff.
Now, you would routinely bring earplugs around with you for any emergency?
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
Wow. Okay. And let's see. AJ says, Rich had mentioned that he met William in a copy shop. Did this host, Steve Gruberg, know him from Beyond Vaudeville?
Well, as you can see by the evidence, that my appearance on the Grube Tube here preceded by several months my first Beyond Vaudeville appearance. So,
gotcha. And there are some questions about the song George's Gorilla that you performed on Beyond Vaudeville. The question is, what was the origin of the George's Gorilla song that you sang on Beyond
Well,
Vaudeville?
I heard it somewhere from some old discarded tape from the 50s. But the arrangement, it was supposed to be, although it was never finished, as you could hear. It was supposed to be like if Eric Burden and the Animals did the same arrangement on the verses of "We Got to Get Out of This Place" to a dance song.
However, you kept increasing the range, right, or the pitch on the song.
Yeah, I know. Remarkable, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, do you know what your range was, and can you still hit those high notes?
I think at the time it was 4 octaves or something, but I can only get two semitones below what I hit at the time of that show.
Okay. So, can you do that for anything more than just that one sound? Could we just hear a high line from George's Gorilla?
Well, not unless I transposed it, which I'm loath to do.
Okay. Let's see other questions. Mr. William Brown, what was your regular job?
I worked in a law office for 12 years.
Okay. And doing what specifically?
Well, I was basically a legal clerk typist who figured out various addresses of different law offices and insurance companies and all that, and keeping them straight and keeping them updated anytime they moved.
Okay. And Matthew Fuller points out that Captain Beefheart had 4 octaves as well. Yes. Are you a fan of Captain Beefheart?
Well, I know about him for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't he towards the end of his career one of the guest hosts on Saturday Night Live?
I believe he did appear, maybe with Frank Zappa in a musical number. I'm not certain about that.
Well, I know. Well,
Yeah. Who would you say are your favorite musical artists, William?
Well, I have different favorite acts of different types. I mean, I have a huge collection of 45s. I have more 45s than LPs and 78s combined.
How many would you say you have? 45?
Well, I have maybe about 3,000 45s or thereabouts.
Wow. Okay. And and I know you used to take photos of all your labels.
Well, I used to make Xerox scans.
Okay. And do you have one of those for every one of your 45?
Well, actually, I have accounts with 45 Cat and Discogs, where I have actually done scans of the labels, and if you look over, let's say WB on Discogs and WB label on 45 Cat, you're going to see some of my works.
Okay. And I know we went into it last time, but another one of your interests are TV test patterns, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And how many TV test patterns have you identified and collected?
Well, I've identified a few hundreds of them. Some of what I've seen online would not be suitable for broadcast, so I had to recreate them from the original elements.
Okay. So you actually draw and recreate some of those test patterns.
Well, by Photoshop, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And Photoshop allows more accuracy than if you were to do it by paper and all that.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Let's go back to your appearance on the Grube Tube on New York City Public Access in the 1990s.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing.
One more call from Mr. Morristown.
You know, I don't have any questions, but Steve, I'd like to give you a little piece of nostalgia. Hofstra!
Dutchman!
Oh, well. I'll tell you.
I was at Hofstra.
I could have sworn, I could never.
Hold on, Bill.
Yes?
This guy plunks down money, right? These are not pirate funds, right?
No.
You plunk down money, you go up to Screw, you give it to them, and what happens?
They reimbursed me for it.
They reimbursed you. So I see you holding a picture of Al Goldstein before you point to his crotch. What's that all about?
Well, you see, Al Goldstein, I've seen his show. He's been known to make very awkward poses on Midnight Blue. And also sometimes when he twists his mouth in order to stifle a laugh whenever he makes a silly comment on the show. I mean, you've noticed it, too. You've worked with him for years.
Don't get me involved in this deal.
And the other thing, you know your picture's breaking up? I mean, it's like jiggling, it's jumping, it's
Yeah,
rocking
how
and
come
rolling.
lots of stuff coming out of the studio was jumping?
Yeah. Well, the joint is jumping. What else is new?
The sync signal's been rewired.
No, well,
You mean-
it stinks signal.
35 looks better than you do now, and there's nothing on 35 at the moment.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's just billboards.
Oh, well, it's in between the 1 minute? Wait a second. There should be some...
The time is now 11:57
Is it your show?
and 55
Oh, it's the gay
seconds,
program.
everyone.
No, all it says is keeping face and figure. It's got all this cable additions. You know,
See what happens in a minute.
All right. I would have... Yeah, I can no longer hear the song Midnight Blue by Melissa Manchester without thinking of the TV show. I have to... Midnight Blue got its current name the same year the song hit the charts.
We preceded her.
Well, I know that in terms of when it debuted, but the name Midnight Blue was first applied to the show we know now in 75 when the Melissa Manchester...
The man is what he appears to be. Okay.
Ditto, I'm sure. Well...
William, we thank you for coming.
All right.
You certainly arrived here quickly.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's through the magic of television.
What's that bulge in your sweater?
Bulge?
He's just glad to see you.
I happen to have pens here with which I write. Small and large, you see.
Holy shit, he's got...
You have to be...
William, you have a lot of stuff in your pocket there.
Well, yeah, well, it was being prepared for certain things.
Okay, but so would you routinely carry that much in your shirt pocket?
I would on the regular occasions when I go out.
Okay, and it looks like on the left there's an X-Acto knife there.
I have two-pocket shirts now, so the X-Acto knife's now in my right pocket.
Okay.
The left pocket. The left pocket. No.
Now, do you have things in your pocket right now, or no?
Well, not for this because of I'm being dressed up for the occasion.
Gotcha. Okay, but now couldn't you have put some of those items in your jacket pocket?
Well, how could I put a handkerchief in if I did?
Ah, okay. I mean the inside jacket.
Oh,
pocket.
that.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it just seems like that would be such a heavy amount of weight.
Well, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, let's get to the end of there because there I go out.
Okay.
Preparedness.
That's amazing. Is that a cigar, too?
No, I don't smoke. I never smoke. You see...
Oh, you're the guy who's been riding on the subway train.
I'm like the Boy Scouts. I'm always prepared.
Well, that's
Are those
good.
your real teeth?
Yeah.
They're not false, I'll tell you.
Are they silicone?
No, not that either.
Time's up.
All right. Well, I wish you greater success on the rest of your show.
Go find some more fonts for us, will you?
Well, it depends on whether the company that made those fonts get new ones.
Call them up and tell them to get some.
Certainly, I'll do that. And good luck, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much.
Silicone, too.
Those fonts are made of Morris.
No, those...
Those silicone fonts.
Remove the clown from Morristown. Okay.
I'm sure.
Thank you very much, William.
Thank you.
Now, that was quite a departure. I think he's now going to be involved in another show now.
He doesn't like my show.
How prophetic that turned out to be.
Yes. So he made a joke where he said those fonts are made of Morris. That was a reference to Morris Fonte, who was a longtime telepsychic.
No, actually, if you saw the beginning of that clip, it said Morris the record exec. That was a reference to the late Roulette Records head Morris Levy.
Oh, I just thought when he combined Font and Morris that he was thinking Morris Fonte.
No, it was Morris Levy, all right.
Okay. And let's see. Media Funhouse is asking, did the X-Acto knife ever come open in the pocket and cut through to the shirt? That could get very nasty.
Well, I make sure to get X-Acto knives with covers that don't do that.
Yes.
And the slightest thing they do that, I retire it.
Gotcha. Okay. Scott Dog is asking, has William had a celebrity encounter story that he could share? Scott, I don't know if you were with us earlier, but we were talking about William Brown's encounters that I had never known about with the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood Gang and Shel Silverstein. Was there anyone else that comes to mind, William?
Well, I was at a record show once, and one of the people leafing through 45s was actor Matt Dillon.
And did you get to speak with Matt Dillon at all?
Well, only in terms of inside talk about records.
And what did Matt Dillon favor in records?
Well, let's just say that his priorities were not mine.
Okay. It was more contemporary.
It was more to the music. I go all above.
Wow. William, I have to take a time out to thank TNL Nick for an extremely generous super chat, who says, "These are my favorite 2 hours on YouTube, and we're not even an hour in. Thank you. The more with Mr. Brown, the better." I agree. Thank you, TNL Nick, so much. This helps with our transferring and making these streams happen. The question now is coming up. William Brown, what did you think of David Green?
Well, somebody asked me, when is he on? I answered, he was always on. Every time I did the show, he was always on.
Did David ever hit you?
Well,
camera?
Well, not physically, but on my very last show, he may have had something to do with my no longer appearing on the program. For the reasons why you saw, because you remember that was the show I did on 2 left feet, and anything that could go wrong did.
Okay, and yes, and we did talk about this in your previous appearance.
Yes,
here,
that was
rewind.
Anyway.
But yes, there was just some unfortunate.
The unfortunate events. Yes.
And so David Green confronted you about that after the show.
This was right after the show ended. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but he was more like one of those. He was like one of those mafia hoods who leaned on you or something like that. With words.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't know about that encounter that he came up to you after that.
Yeah.
Wow. And Michael Tomorrow is asking, how old is William?
Well, you could pretty much tell by my white hair.
And that's as much as we're gonna
at this time. Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm ageless.
And let's see. Bailey George says, does your Columbia discography include OK Records or other Columbia subsidiaries?
No, but I did work on a follow-up project involving the first singles discography for Epic.
Okay.
However, they have since been sold to the University of California at Santa Barbara.
Now, William, when you were doing your Columbia discography, did you find records that even Columbia didn't know that they had?
I think I told you there were some stock 45s I have that they did not have in that form in their files. And I did 4x6 index cards cross-referenced by artist, catalog number, matrix numbers, song titles, and all that.
And were they grateful for that when you provided them?
They certainly know about them now.
Right. Okay. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Matthew Fuller says that you had a mustache back then.
Mustaches certainly, I have been told that they were associated with villainy and recklessness, and based on my last appearance, apparently the recklessness certainly was there. And I haven't worn a mustache since.
Sorry about that. Okay, keep going, William.
All right. So,
okay, all good.
I hear a phone. Just a minute.
No, that was mine, William.
Oh, I thought, because I have a phone like that makes it sound like that.
We've had more technical difficulties on this than any previous live stream. I thank you all for bearing with us. And but we're doing okay. We're all right. So the question has come in: will your book on the Columbia record labels be published?
Well, I published it myself, but there were people who bought it. But as of this time, it is being entered into a database online.
Okay.
As a part of, who made an arrangement with Sony Music.
Okay.
So
A couple of other items on Columbia Records. I guess we have some record collectors on here. Matthew Fuller is saying Skip Spence was on Columbia Records and his record made very little. You're familiar with Skip Spence, William?
Oh, yeah, an original member of the Jefferson Airplane. I just want to see if he put out any 45s. Unfortunately, he never did any 45s. It was all the LP he did.
Ah, okay. So, Matthew, I hope that was informative to you. And Bailey George is saying, who is your favorite Columbia country artist? Mine is Roy Acuff.
Well, I have a few myself. A couple of them. Let's see. There's Johnny Cash, Johnny Horton, Ray Price. Some would say, for argument, Lynn Anderson.
Okay. And Scott Dog is asking, does William have a favorite movie and rock band?
That I can't quantify or qualify. So.
Okay. Let's see. Dennis Devine asking, has William ever had training as either a draftsman or an artist?
No, I'm pretty much self-taught on that score.
Okay. All right. So let's go back. Now we're going to take a look at another show that you appeared on.
Yes.
And this show was called Voyeur Vision.
Yes.
This was
in mid-1992, and it was a few months before my first Beyond Vaudeville appearance.
Okay. And was this least access?
Is this my appearance, or is that before that?
It's your appearance.
Okay.
And is this
that was a few months before my first Beyond Vaudeville?
And was this on leased access or public access?
Oh, it was leased access, which by then was commercial use channel 35.
Okay. And clearly you watched a lot of public access TV, yes?
Pretty enough to get my skin in the game, for sure.
Okay. And so you liked Voyeur Vision, and you sent the host a drawing that you made that we just saw on the Gruberg show.
Yes.
Of her with Al Goldstein from Midnight Blue. And she was very enamored of the drawing. And then she invited you to come on the show?
I was invited to come onto the show, and I showed it. And what you're going to see is what you're going to see.
Okay. So let's take
let's see it.
All right. Let's call this up. And back we go. There's their logo.
And what you're looking at now is a portrait of myself and Al Goldstein sitting on the Voyeur Vision set, of course the red satin sheets and the brass bed. And the artist of this, who is a fan of Voyeur Vision and here on the show tonight, is Mr. Bill Brown. Welcome, Bill.
Greetings from the Holy Land, and how do you do?
How do you do?
I want to reciprocate with a little compliment of my own. It was very good reading that letter down all the way through from start to finish. You usually don't do that with most letters.
Right. But you want to know something? I was so impressed with your artwork that I thought I might give you my full and devoted attention.
That was very wise, I'll tell you that much. I mean, it shows you that I worked. It shows you why I did work. I did a lot of study and a lot of research into what I did. You really have to be observant about the people you're going to do if you're going to get it right. And by the way,
William, let's just set this up a little bit. So typically, this was Lynn. What was her last name?
Muscarella. She was married to the producer.
She was married to the producer. And she typically would be laying on this bed, and she would take phone calls.
She would take phone calls.
And people would ask her.
And there were people who would disrobe on the show, which was not my thing.
And would she ever disrobe on the show herself?
No, that was not. No, she wouldn't do that. But she would do some things by request.
Okay. And she would speak very seductively to the viewers. And And so was it uncomfortable for you having to coming on the show and being right there next to her? Was this uncomfortable at all? What do you remember?
Well, it was a thing. Let me put it that way.
Okay. And now was your mom aware of you appearing on these shows and this show in particular?
Well, it was one of those, because I have seen some crossovers over the years on some shows, but not all of them.
Yeah.
And I have thought of some scenario in my brain over the years involving certain things. I mean, the Brooklyn Vice thing was one of them. The one I'm going to do with Celine Dion and the Belmonts is the other. So that was sort of along those lines.
Okay. So we'll go back to this now. Homeboy H. Jefferson says, I bet it was hard to get all your facts together in such an environment.
Well, in those days, I could recall them like that.
Okay. Let's go back.
Another
Fine.
drawing I did a few years ago, which I'm going to bestow a copy upon you.
Oh, are you? Thank
This
you.
is a drawing I did several years ago called Brooklyn Vice with Jackie Gleason and Art Carney from The Honeymooners, playing Miami Vice-style detectives. There are several reasons I did this. First of all, in the late 1960s, Gleason did a show from Miami Beach. Secondly, there was a T-shirt several years ago called Bedrock Vice with Fred and Barney from the Flintstones, which is a derivative of The Honeymooners. And also there was a drawing several years ago called New York Vice with Ed Koch and Mario Cuomo. The only problem was their heads were superimposed over the bodies of the Miami Vice co-stars, and so the artist who did that was sort of like Oprah's head over Ann Margaret's body, if you know what I mean.
I do. This is so... I noticed that you have an incredible eye for detail, Bill.
That is absolutely correct. And a sense of humor.
We all noticed that the first moment that you walked in. As a matter of fact, I said, Bill, you should be a comedian. I mean, not only are you artistic, but you're very, very funny. Where do you get that? I mean, does it just come naturally? Or do you kind of look in the mirror and work on your jokes? What do you do?
Well, speaking of jokes, I have a funny one. About a person who walks into a bar, and midway through his journey, there's a woman who comes up to him, and she asked him if he wants some Harvey's Bristol cream. And the guy replies, no thanks, I'd rather have some of my own Bristol cream. You see, that's the laugh I'm talking about.
More importantly, Bill, let's hear about your fantasy.
Well, what you saw it, the one that I sent to you, in which I imagined him asking you about your various sexual habits. And you answered that question, by the way, that's correct. And I will tell you, though, among all the things that could possibly attract a person sexually, there's only one thing in the world. That is when my eyes come into contact, either in person, or by reading a newspaper or a magazine, or by watching television, as I do this show, when my eyes come into contact with a woman's bare feet.
Like these?
Yes, like those. That's right. I mean, the structure of it, the way they are shaped.
Right.
That's right. The way they're sculpted, the spacing.
Between the toes.
That's right, and all that kind of stuff. The way the nails are shaped.
Under there. Yes. The nails are shaped. So, as you look at my feet, are you getting? So you have a foot fetish.
That is absolutely correct.
And when you get
most of the time,
does this turn you on right now?
Yes, it does. As a matter of fact, certainly.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, let's say. Very nice. Yeah, that's correct. I'm of the look, don't lick school. Just look, don't look. That's safe sex for me.
They're very, very clean, though, Bill. They really are. I mean,
I prefer to look and observe and appreciate and feel. I mean, that's my thing. That's my nature.
AJ in the chat is saying William is a feet fan. Never knew that. So you were comfortable going on this,
the funny thing is that I approach it by a more of a aesthetic stream, by the appearance and all that.
Got it.
And what I was mentioning about look, don't lick. I remember reading a few years ago that Michael Douglas, the actor, had I think he had throat cancer, and it had to do with certain of his proclivities when he was younger, and I think that might have had something to do with it.
Okay. And now Hiram Jr. is asking, has William ever met Robin Bird?
A few times, and that's all I can say at this time.
Oh, okay. Were you ever at a taping of the Robin Bird show?
No, but I had seen her at some parties, but I was not much a fan of her show. But that's neither here nor there.
Okay, and for those who don't know, Robin Bird was another one of these shows on.
Which lasted a long time.
Yes, right up until 1999 or something like that.
No, she was, I think, until the 2000s or 2010s.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Homeboy Jefferson says, I can't believe we're privileged to witness this history. It's like peeking in during the signing of the Magna Carta.
Magna Carta?
Yeah, apparently. the question had come up if you know what's become of Lynn, this host of Voyeur Vision.
Oh, well, a few months after that show was taped, the Enterprise imploded, and she and her husband broke up.
Ah, okay.
I was told that, by the way, by Al Goldstein.
Ah, okay. But
at a party.
So we don't really know what she's up to now.
Well, a couple of years later, I saw her on another show, and she looked rather disheveled and like with her eyes looked like she was coked up or something.
Oh, wow. Well, allegedly. Media Funhouse says that Lynn would sometimes indulge the callers, but most times she was out of the mood and would hang up on them after they paid $5 a minute waiting through the 976 ad.
Well, that was one of the reasons why I appeared, so I saved the money.
Ah, okay. And let's see. Rainy Winter is saying that she's a really good interviewer. And let's see, what else do we have here? I'm trying to just get to other comments. I think AJ says, I think Michael Douglas might have been hiding his true cancer with that. I think it might have been tongue cancer. Okay.
Well, either tongue cancer or oral cancer, whatever it was, it may have been from his proclivities.
Okay. Okay, so let's go back to this video. By the way, I want to thank TNL Nick, who contributed to our super chat earlier very generously.
Yeah, and I like to thank the Echo for the delay in the audio a few seconds after we speak.
Well, fortunately, William, I think that's only affecting you. There's something with your computer set up there, because I'm not.
And I'm wearing headphones, so.
I don't know. We're not hearing complaints in chat, so I think everyone's hearing this okay.
Well, when I see it later on, I'll see.
Cole Sloth is asking, how much is 1980s $5 per minute in modern day? Do you know the translation?
I would say about $30 a minute, but who knows?
Wow, interesting.
You remember inflation?
Yeah, and someone is asking, Max Ice is asking William if you have seen the Oddville episodes. Have you watched any of the?
I saw a few in passing. I noticed how David was neutered.
Right. AJ is saying, I think Mr. Brown is listening on YouTube, so it gives him an echo, but he should just listen to the call between you two, and then he wouldn't have the echo. So I don't know. Do you have the volume up on?
If I turn the volume down, I won't be able to hear either of us.
Oh, you won't be. I think you'll just be able to hear us. I think you'll be able to hear me just through StreamYard if you have the volume down on your YouTube window with the feed. Okay, how about?
Hold on, let me check.
Okay. Thank you, AJ. I think you just became our technical director, AJ the TD. If this works.
Now I've got it because I had it on at the same time. That's what happened.
There we go, AJ. You solved that problem.
And it sounds to me like that's going to affect the playback.
Okay, well let's see what happens. You should be able to hear the playback through StreamYard. So let's give this a try. We're going to go back. We're going back to William Brown here on Voyeur Vision, a public access show from the 1990s.
Are so wonderful. Tell us, how long does it take you to do, let's say, a portrait like this?
Well, this particular one took me almost a month to do, from conception to execution in terms of the drawing. Mm-hmm. The actual staging of the thing I envisioned took much longer, after countless months of research. The Brooklyn Vice thing, however, took about 3 months to do. 1 month to do the characters and the rest of the drawing, and 2 months for the bridge.
Wow. So, do you do artwork on the side, or?
Well, it's one of my side things. I also do research into various information. I'm sort of like the Joe Franklin of all these things of what I do. I'm also doing a project on a major record label, which will be coming up in a few years.
Really? Very cool.
Be right back.
Be right back after this commercial message.
William, what was that project that you were referencing on the record?
Columbia Discography.
Okay, your book. Okay, not a recording, but your book about.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes, I was alluding to that.
Okay. And here we are
Hi,
back.
everybody.
Now, wait. What's happening here? Who's this gentleman in the blue?
This was he was wearing some rubber suit or something like that, and I think he disrobed or whatever. He came on before me.
Oh, so she would have guests on that would.
Yeah, that is why I say the fact that I was on fully clothed the whole time made that a distinction.
So you were among the few, if not the only, guest ever to appear on Voyeur Vision and not take off your clothing.
That's right.
Okay. Did she ask you to or no?
It would have been a distraction anyway for all of us.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Let's go back to William Brown on Voyeur Vision.
Yeah.
Listen, I have to wrap it up real fast, so if anybody wants to get in touch with Derek Adam Videos, call them at area code 212-695-0048. And I want to thank Mr. Bill Brown for coming on.
Thank you
You're
very much.
Truly a gentleman and a great
I love
artist.
the picture, Bill.
Really, really
Hey,
great.
thank you very much.
Listen up, everybody. You have to have safe sex. You have to use those condoms.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
It's latex.
Okay. Bravo.
Okay. And
Now,
before we go to this last clip, let's just catch up here. Questions are coming up. Scott Dog.
All right, fine. Now I can hear him clearly.
Oh, good. Okay. Scott Dog says, has William ever partaken in any use of herb? I guess he's asking if you would smoke marijuana at all.
I wouldn't smoke anything. As a matter of fact, I mentioned I never smoked in that Gruberg appearance.
Correct. That's right. Okay. And Pig Guy is saying that he suspects you wear sock garters. Have you ever worn sock garters?
Well, I've never worn garters, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. And Cole Sloth is asking, do you still make artwork, Mr. Brown?
Well, if you haven't heard what's been going on in the pipeline of late, you've been missing a lot.
Correct. Yes, we did talk about William is working on a piece combining Celine Dion with Dion and the Belmonts. Correct.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And let's see. What else do we have? This question's come up a few times on the chat here since we've been on, and it might be the same person. Did William Brown ever fart on the show?
I hope not.
Okay. Okay. So Stephen Korn, who actually is our longtime director, is
with a K?
Correct. And
I thought so.
Is asking, did William ever consider doing a public access show of his own?
Well, the thought may have come across my mind, but the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there was no money in public access. Actually, on leased access, the shows that we were watching, well, the show we just watched, Voyeur Vision, they were able to make money on those shows.
But you did see something that you didn't know before. That interest in the aesthetics and the contours and the curves.
Yes.
And the appearance is. The smell part of it.
Okay. So, William, we are now going to look at a clip of you appearing on Midnight Blue. Now, we talked about Midnight Blue at the beginning of this live stream, but for anyone that joined late, Midnight Blue was a show.
It was on for 29 years.
From
1974 to 2003. And the show ended around the time Al Goldstein's particular empire crashed.
Okay, so yes, so Al Goldstein was like a number of pornographers, was a First Amendment crusader for whatever reason, whether he was looking to defend free speech or whether he was looking to line his pockets. He was the publisher of he was a former cab driver who became a publisher of Screw newspaper. It was a weekly kind of low rent newspaper.
He also had an interest in electronics, which earned him a spot with Jerry Lewis on the Stanley Siegel show on Channel 7 in the mid to late 70s.
Correct. And I saw him at the Consumer Electronics Show. He loved technology. He was among the...
He called them tchotchkes.
Yes, and he was among the first people to have a picture phone on his desk, where he could see actual, people on his phone. Michael Chamorro says, I heard Goldstein was obnoxious and didn't smell good. Okay, so Joey the monkey.
Well, in the times we met, he would often say to me, William, please relax.
Okay.
If he says that to me, then probably I was probably pumped up or something like that, and I don't mean drug-wise.
Now, did you find him?
I mean, at the event of the moment.
Did you find Al Goldstein to be obnoxious?
Well, I don't know about obnoxious, but you wouldn't want to have been around him all the time, on certain occasions and special occasions and all that.
Yeah, he had a reputation, for so on Midnight Blue, he would often just rail against people and companies and restaurants and
things.
Yeah, he would just complain a lot. He had a home down in Florida that was on a canal in a wealthy section.
Yeah,
and
that was what that Sheriff Broward County, T-shirt was about, because he would run for sheriff every few years there.
And I don't believe he was liked down there because he had a giant statue of a middle finger on his back porch facing the canals. So I started to mention Joey the Monkey. Our Joey the Monkey, John Walsh, actually worked for Al Goldstein and
was a production assistant on Midnight Blue. He was one of the announcers.
Yeah, he worked at Screw newspaper. He also was an announcer on Midnight Blue. You could hear his mellifluous voice.
Tones.
On Midnight Blue. And now, did you meet Joey the Monkey when you were at
maybe
Midnight
once or twice at midnight at the Screw offices? The studios where Midnight Blue was taped was pretty much a broom closet.
Yes,
compared to the 23rd Street studios we were in.
Yes,
they had a Hitachi SK91 camera which was working, and they had on hand in the back an older Sharp XC700 camera. They had a rostrum camera which was an Ikegami ITC 730 model, which they would put something on a table and they'd have the camera on top there. They call it a rostrum camera in Britain.
Okay. And now the offices of Midnight Blue and Screw were really pretty disgusting. They were just a lot of junk, and it was down on 14th Street, I believe.
Well, it could be said that 14th Street was, as you described at the time.
Yes, at the time. So here you are doing an editorial on Midnight Blue. And we'll take a look.
And I was one of the better dressed of those who did.
Yes.
And this was, I think this is raw footage.
Okay. Meaning that it didn't air this way?
It didn't have the, it didn't have the guest FU department titles, which, by the way, were set up with 3 of the fonts I provided.
Okay. Let's and someone says another one of Al Goldstein's guests was Tiny Tim. Yes, Tiny Tim, R. Crumb, Al Lewis. Who else? You remember others? Penn Jillette.
Yeah, Beyond Vaudeville and Midnight Blue had a few things in common.
Yeah, let's see.
And that picture that you saw of Lynn and Al Goldstein, there was a small printout of that picture that was hanging on the walls on most of the Beyond Vaudeville episodes I was on. If you look closely and you see them on YouTube and all that, you will see the picture in the background.
I suspect that was your doing. You would put that up on the wall when we were setting up.
Believe it, I would. I would.
Okay, so let's get
to the show.
Correct.
And how I would expound on things.
Let's go to the videotape. This is William Brown
Yes.
on Midnight Blue. And this was what year around?
This was during 1991-92.
Okay. Yes, it was 15 and 18 of May 1992. Very good. Okay, here we go.
Oh, yeah, that was a few months before my first Beyond Vaudeville.
All right. Let's take a look at William Brown.
Yes.
On Midnight Blue.
Yeah, let's.
Good evening. My name is William Brown, and I am from New York City, and this is a guest editorial for Midnight Blue. On March 4th, the New York chapter of the National Organization for Women, in conjunction with the self-explanatory Women Against Pornography, staged their annual protest in front of the Time and Life building in Midtown Manhattan against the popular Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. Now, ordinarily, such a protest enough would be disgraceful. This year, it was even more so. On the very same day I was hearing when the Supreme Court would begin hearing oral arguments in the case that Pennsylvania law restricting abortion. Also, we have the showdown in Buffalo going on as we speak. Between Operation So-Called Rescue and the pro-choice forces on the matter of abortion. Now, what does all these two things have to do with one another? Well, not much, unless you start reading between the lines. I will quote to you from the February 25th edition of New York Newsday, in which Ellen Willis did an op-ed piece. She said, "How long will it take for press groups to find out that if you give the state enough rope, that it will end up around their necks?" Now, the feminists who are against pornography have been pushing for so many years this link between pornography and violence against women. Now, even if you ban pornography, you're not going to stop violence against women because, even though I don't approve it, this is a patriarchal society. They've been pushing this link for so long that it escaped to them the link between their crusade and the attack on women's rights in general and abortion rights in particular. For example, there was a Minnesota law that has been on the books in 1981 requiring parental consent. Was enacted at the same time that Catherine McKinnon was pushing an anti-pornography statute that was later ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. Ever since Women Against Pornography was first formed, we have seen one setback on women's rights after another, not just the parental consent law. There was also the Hyde Amendment, the defeat of the Equal Rights Amendment, last year's veto of the Family Leave Act by President Bush, and the various Supreme Court decisions of late restricting abortion. Now, last year's decision, which muzzled doctors from giving counseling on abortion, the feminists who were so involved in this anti-porn campaign woke up from their stupor long enough to give a reaction of, "Hey, wait a minute, we was robbed!" Now, let me give you some advice. When the ball is finally lowered on Roe v. Wade, it's no longer a question of if, because Reagan and Bush put down the mechanisms in place to do so. Even though the feminists in question, like Catherine McKinnon and Andrea Dworkin and Gloria Steinem, are not totally to blame, they are a contributory factor as much as those on the right who are opposed to everything. They're not selective. They ban breathing if they get away with it. But it is because of these feminists that we have Operation Rescue, that we have the assault on women's rights, that we have people like Patrick Buchanan talking about women should be forced back into the kitchen. We have all this kind of stuff, the unchecked bullying of Professor Hill and the Judge Thomas hearings, all that kind of stuff. This is what happens when you take your mind off what has to be done and do all this side stuff. And this is what's happening right now. The chickens are coming home to roost. So to the feminists for slitting their own throats in order to save the rest of their body, you!
Thank you, William Brown. Guest editorials are always welcome.
And that was just bleeped that moment by us. Now,
but anyway, it was in line with the general philosophy of Midnight Blue and Screw magazine.
Right, and now
so I was able to adapt accordingly.
And did you get?
By the way, the typeface you saw on those lower thirds and supers, that was one of the original fonts they had to start with before I added to their library. So they didn't use any of what I provided with them in that clip.
Okay. And now, did you
By
get
the way,
any?
I've taken off my headphones since that double is no longer double. So.
Okay, good. So I'm glad now that we've gotten through all of the clips, we have finally straightened out your audio. Can you hear me, William?
Oh, good.
William, are you hearing me okay?
Well, I see. I'm not. It looks like I'm looking at a badly dubbed Japanese monster movie now.
Ah, okay. So something is happening with your stream from that end.
Well, on my end, I'm looking at the drift. I'm coming out okay. I mean,
okay. And now, after you made that appearance on Midnight Blue, did you get any kind of feedback on that, or?
Wherever it was. I mean, this was before the internet, so I would not have known one way or the other.
Right. Okay. Now, and we should mention that Al Goldstein eventually met kind of a very sad fate toward the end. He lost all his money.
He lost everything.
He lost everything, and he became basically a homeless person, I believe. That's kind of what the reports were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yes. Now, did you get to meet any other New York City public access personalities in the 90s?
Well, not that many. There was another leased access star that I never appeared on, but I later met because her producer was a client of a video edit audio post-production house I worked in for a couple of years on and off. You may have heard of her, Sky London.
Sky London.
On Friday nights at 10 o'clock, half an hour on Channel 35. And her show ended around the same time Midnight Blue did.
Right. I'm not sure if I have any video of that. Possibly. So did you record shows off public access in the 90s the way I did? I mean, I
recorded my stuff. That's why you have that copy.
Yeah.
No, I recorded what I did. That's why you have that copy.
Right. But did you record other shows like by other people on public access?
Not really, because there were other stuff I was seeing at the time, which I recorded if it interested me.
Okay. Max Ice is asking, what is your favorite public access show, William? Yes. What were your favorites, and do you still watch public access in New York?
Well, I don't even have cable anymore. We ditched it in 2013.
Ah, okay.
But I'll tell you one thing. When Steve Gruberg died in 2011, the spirit of public access pretty much went with him.
Ah, okay.
I was on his 35th anniversary show the year before. Sky London was a guest. I was. A few other people who appeared with him over the years were guests. He had another studio by that time on East 28th Street between 5th and Madison Avenues. And I didn't know until a couple of years ago that he died a year after that.
Yeah, I had heard when Steve Gruberg had passed and had reached out to his widow, encouraging her to keep the tapes because she had tapes of all his shows. And, I think she wasn't sure, like, what do I do with these? I really encouraged her to
meet her a couple times.
Yeah, she was very nice. And I hope she did actually save all those tapes because it was a great archive of
they were very valuable.
Yeah, because he went back to
they were pretty much also a useful time capsule too.
Yes, and when did he start, Steve Gruberg?
He started around 1975. His Grube Tube started out black and white, and by the 80s he got the color.
Okay. Derek Dean is asking, William, did you ever meet Joan Rivers?
Are you kidding? Nah, I never did.
That's a no. Nor did I. Media Funhouse is saying, is William of Irish heritage? He looks like he's Irish American. And homeboy H. Jefferson says he could be Swedish German.
They wish. I kept saying I'm about half Pennsylvania Dutch. I may have only small Irish in me, which may explain my dancing in that famous episode.
So no Swedish German heritage to your knowledge?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Even though I have listened to some of Abba's records.
And AJ is saying, Mr. Brown, has an incredible memory. Do you consider yourself someone with
very much?
Do you consider yourself someone with a strong memory?
Most of the time, yes.
Yeah.
A few times I've had lapses or what they call brain freezes. Well, that last show I did where I couldn't even remember that Roberta album that Kay Ballard did and got mixed up with something else.
So explain what happened there.
I was grasping for straws, evidently.
Okay.
Now, I was thinking of New Faces of 52 because what happened was the Roberta album, which she did, on the back cover, it said Kay Ballard making her record debut, and I sort of conflated that.
Ah, okay.
Now, she did one duet with Jack Cassidy on the album I Have, I Won't Dance. And believe me, if I had been there and taken the album with me and showed it, I would have certainly asked her, A, what was it like working with Jack Cassidy way back when? And B, what was the producer, Goddard Lieberson, like?
Ah, okay. Do you know much about that producer? Or
Goddard Lieberson, very big. He pretty much invented, I don't know about inventing, but because I was Decca with Oklahoma in 1943, but he pretty much perfected the art of producing original Broadway cast albums. Like My Fair Lady and Camelot, up to a chorus line.
Wow. Okay. If anyone hasn't seen the episode of Beyond Vaudeville that William is referencing, it was with guest Kay Ballard and Lara Jill Miller, and you can find it at Beyond Vaudeville on YouTube. You can see.
As I said, it was an unmitigated disaster.
Okay.
I looked at the taping date of that, and I think it was a foreboding because it was 8 years to the day before that 9/11.
Oh, okay. It was recorded on 9/11. Years
93.
prior.
Yeah.
Now, AJ is saying on the last time that William was on this Rich Brown Rewind, William talked about Benny Hill. Could he talk about what he loved about the show? Benny Hill. I
think there was a lot of factors involved here. One of them was that he did a bunch of he was sort of like in many ways an amalgam of Jackie Gleason, Sid Caesar, Carol Burnett, and such. And also he did a bunch of blooper sketches, which in their tone were almost reminiscent of the recurring sketches on the Electric Company, where somebody would say a line or a word wrong, and Rita Moreno, was a jodhpur-wearing director with the megaphone, would explode at the actor. And the tone was sort of reminiscent of those sketches. So there were a lot of people in 1979 when the show was first syndicated in the United States who felt disenfranchised in the wake of the cancellations of Jackie Gleason and Red Skelton in 1970 by CBS, the end of Dean Martin's show on NBC in 1974, Carol Burnett ending her show in 1978. There were people who were yearning for the type of old style knockabout comedy that was increasingly disappearing from modern TV.
Yeah.
I didn't think it had anything to do with the other portions that people thought it was about.
William, you mentioned Red Skelton. I don't know if you've read much about his life or his biography.
I haven't heard about it. He was on for 20 years on television.
Yeah, and actually gave Johnny Carson his start.
His first big break, yeah.
Did you know about this? I
heard about that, yeah.
Yeah. The new book about Johnny Carson talks about how he was hosting a small show in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Carson Seller on KNXT Channel 2.
Yeah, exactly. And he made what camera did they use, do you think?
Oh, they were using it those days. It was all black and white. And they were using RCA TK10 and TK11 cameras. Now, as soon as they came up for replacement, CBS, which by the early 60s had developed an anything but RCA replacement policy, they got rid of those cameras and replaced them with Marconi Mark IVs, which were the cameras that were used at the Ed Sullivan Theater when the Beatles made their first big appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show in early '64.
Ah, okay. And well, William, we could go all night. I think I said this.
I mean, I'm looking at the time right now.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you so much for
the pleasure's
participating
been
in
all
this
mine.
and sharing with us your personal history with public access in New York outside of Beyond Vaudeville. You can see all William's appearances on Beyond Vaudeville at Beyond Vaudeville on YouTube. And now you've seen his other appearances on these other shows. So
which have turned, I'm sure a lot of people have turned out to be surprised by it.
Yes, a pleasant surprise. And I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight and participating in this. Again, thanks to TNL Nick for generously participating in the super chat to help us continue with this and digitizing.
Like the Catholic, whatever, Doc Severinsen style.
Yes. And okay. And so, William, thank you again. And we'll have to do this again sometime. And maybe I'll learn of other
you may well. Who knows?
Amazing that you knew Shel Silverstein well enough that he actually tied your necktie on you.
Yeah,
what
absolutely. Was he? I mean, very few people can claim that.
What was the occasion?
I was shoveling snow outside the house
and shoveling your snow. Why was he putting a tie? Why were you putting on a tie for that?
Because I was going to some event, and that's funny. He never dressed formally, and yet he knew how to tie a Windsor knot.
Yeah, interesting.
Go figure.
All right, William, thanks again. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll probably be doing this on Saturday next week so that we don't go up against the Oscars on Sunday.
Right, of course.
And
you also don't want to go against Felix either. Couple joke.
Right. Okay. Thanks. William, one last question since you brought that up. Do you prefer the TV Odd Couple Actors or the movie Odd Couple Actors?
Well, we're talking about the
Randall
TV
Klugman,
actors, all right. And it's funny that Jack Klugman, despite the fact that he lost his voice this last year, outlived Tony Randall.
So I'm sorry. So I think I might have spoken over you. You prefer Randall? You prefer the TV version?
There.
Yeah. You prefer the TV version?
I would
of Odd
say,
Couple?
it had more of a spirit that could not be replicated in the films.
Okay, sounds good. All right. On that note, we're gonna check sign off, and thanks everybody again. Bye.
Good night.